What if the play that decides our season didn't even happen on offense? And what if it already happened? What if a single twist at the bottom of a pile in Chicago, one of those grimy, nobody notices snaps, just forced Detroit to rip up a chunk of the plan for Baltimore under the lights? I'm not being dramatic. I'm being honest. Picture this. You're 6 days out from Lamar, you're tweaking red zone menus, and the tight end room, our hidden battering ram, is suddenly a man down. If you think that doesn't change protection calls, special teams, and who gets the ball on 3rd and 1, you haven't been paying attention to how the staff builds a game plan. This is urgent, Detroit. This is the kind of roster tremor you feel in your elbows. Here's what I promise. No spoilers yet. I'll show you the domino that fell and why the replacement pieces actually tell you what Dan Campbell wants this offense to be. I'll break down how the trenches just got a reinforcement. You'll only notice if you watch the A-gaps. I'll explain the scout team shuffle that screams, "We are preparing for chaos," and how the tight end rotation and special teams reload for a month-long stretch without one of their glue guys. Then we'll separate cold facts from rumor mill smoke, what's official, what's projection, and I'll tell you exactly how I'd attack the next 4 weeks if I had the headset. Quick timeout. You're watching Lions News Fan Report, blue-collar updates for a blue-collar fan base. Slam that like, subscribe if you bleed Honolulu blue, and hit the bell so you stay first in the huddle when Detroit moves a piece. Intro time. You just ragdolled the Bears by 31, and Ford Field sounded like a steel mill. When a game gets that lopsided, people think the little things don't matter. Wrong. That's when coaches take inventory. Who came out clean? Who played through a nick? Which units lost a cog? Detroit's identity is built around 2 ideas. Win the trench on offense, suffocate angles on defense. Hidden inside the first part is a third idea a lot of casuals miss. The tight end is a 6th lineman one snap, a fullback the next, and a safety valve right after. In this system, tight ends are not window dressing. They are scaffolding. You pull the wrong bolt, the whole side of the building wobbles. Now the news, straight up, and then we'll dig in. Tight end Shane Zylstra left the Bears game with an ankle and didn't return. The team moved him to injured reserve, which means at least 4 games out. To rebalance the roster, Detroit signed Tristan Colin, a center guard swing, to the 53. They released linebacker Monty Rice from the practice squad, and they added Malik Cunningham, a wide-out quarterback hybrid, and veteran tight end Ross Dwelley to that same practice group. Why this is bigger than a single name on a sheet. Zylstra is one of those lunch pail tight ends every contender needs. He's the guy who sets an edge on power, chips a defensive end so your tackle can climb, squares up on punt team, and runs the flat route that holds the weak side linebacker just long enough for the slant behind it. He's not flashy, he's functional. In the red zone, where Ben Johnson loves to marry heavy looks with misdirection, guys like Zylstra are the hinge. Lose the hinge? The door still opens, but the timing changes. And timing in the red zone is touchdowns versus field goals. So, who picks up the slack? First layer, Sam Laporta remains the ace, route winner, versatile alignment piece, and credible blocker who can win leverage with technique even when he's outgunned by weight. Brock Wright becomes even more central in the short yardage goal line menu, the unsung hero in 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and the lead for the insert blocks that turn 2 yards into 5. James Mitchell, if active, gives you that hybrid H-back look, motion across, sift block, leak into the flat, exactly the kind of constraint that forces linebackers to keep their feet quiet instead of flying downhill. And the practice squad ad of Ross Dwelley matters because he's seen the league from the inside. Heavy packages, 2 TE sets, the dirty jobs that don't end up in highlight reels. That's not just a body, that's a toolbox. Now, the trench signal. Tristan Colin to the 53. That's a "we are not losing because of a bad protection check in a loud stadium" move. Colin's value is between the ears as much as in the hands. In Baltimore, you get simulated pressures, drop a lineman, bring a nickel, muddy the A-gaps, stuff that tests your communication. A clean, snapping, assignment-sure interior lineman is the difference between 2nd and 4 and your quarterback getting folded on 3rd and 9. If Frank Ragnow so much as tapes an extra finger, colon is your insurance policy. If a guard gets banged up mid-series, he keeps the structure intact, so Ben Johnson doesn't have to cut half the play sheet. As for Malik Cunningham, that's the scout team chess piece. You need someone who can color outside the lines all week, force your edge players to squeeze and surf, and make the backers respect the keep on zone read looks. Cunningham's not just a gadget, he's a practice problem. He mimics the chaos quarterback profile, so your defense calibrates to the speed before Sunday. Want to spy Lamar? Get reps. Want to build a collapse in cage rush lane plan? You need a mobile look Tuesday through Friday. Malik gives you that. Let's talk packages and the ripple effect. Without Zylstra, expect fewer heavy looks on early downs unless the staff trusts Dwelley or Mitchell to replicate the edge set consistently. That could mean more split flow, tight end crossing behind the line, instead of insert, tight end leading through the hole, and more quick game tags to keep Baltimore from pinning their ears back, slant flat, stick, Y option. In short yardage, right becomes your hammer. In the red zone, Laporta's gravity can be weaponized with leak concepts, show run, delay, slip into the void, for chunk plays that compensate for fewer smash mouth reps. Special teams, this matters. Zylstra is a core unit pro. Replacing him means bigger snaps for tight ends down the depth chart and possibly a call-up if they want Dwelley active just for teams. Coverage lanes have to be rebuilt. Punt protect has to be repped. These are the 3 plays a game the broadcast ignores that flip field position and decide a one-score night. Prepare to win ugly there. Fact versus speculation. Let's put a label on it so nobody gets twisted. Facts. Zylstra is on injured reserve and will miss at least 4 games. Colon is on the active roster. Cunningham and Dwelley are on the practice squad. Monty Rice is out. Speculation, how quickly Dwelley could be elevated, whether Mitchell's role expands on offense, whether Cunningham gets a game day wrinkle package, and how much 12 personnel Detroit uses in Baltimore. That's educated guesswork based on how this staff has moved in similar spots, timeline and match flow. At Baltimore, your offense needs to get the ball out on time and run with stubborn efficiency, even when the run looks ugly. That means living in 2nd and 6, not 2nd and 11. Expect a tighter target tree in the high leverage downs. Amon-Ra in leverage beater routes, Laporta as the chain mover, RB angle rock option as the blitz answer, and a commitment to body blow runs that pay off in the 4th quarter. On defense, Cunningham's week of imitating a slippery QB should sharpen your rush lanes. The goal is not sacks, it's smother, collapsing the edges, making Lamar reset his feet twice, then rally tackle. Win first down, make him play from the pocket in long yardage, and your safeties can feast. Zoom out for the next month. 4 games without Zylstra means 4 weeks of tight end reshuffle. It's an opportunity disguised as a headache. If Dwelley proves trustworthy as a blocker, your heavy menu survives. If Mitchell flashes as a move TE, your offense might actually gain a changeup you right into December. And if Colon stabilizes a banged-up series or 2, we'll circle this transaction as the quiet hinge that saved a drive in a hostile stadium. That's the stuff contenders do. Win the hidden plays. Now, the elephant in the room. Do the Lions need to go outside the building for a tight end? Knee-jerk says yes. My read says be patient. You don't disrupt a room that's performing unless the newcomer is clearly better in your system. Laporta is your star. Wright is your sledgehammer. Mitchell and a veteran practice squad pro can bridge the gap. If an affordable mauler shakes free, fine. But this staff values continuity in surface-changing units like the TEs because they are attached to your run fits, your pass pro, and your special teams. Chemistry counts double there. Coaching fingerprints to expect. A little more condensed splits, receivers tight to the formation, to help in the run game and create traffic for man coverage. More shift motion on early downs to force Baltimore to declare, then call the play at the line. And a stubborn willingness to run into looks that are even on the whiteboard, but winnable with pad level and double teams. Dan Campbell football doesn't blink because a glue guy is out. It doubles down on identity. My personal take? This stings because it removes a craftsman right when you need every clamp tight. But I love the response. Colin to the 53 says, you're protecting the core of your offense, communication and integrity inside. Cunningham on the PS says you're preparing for the kind of quarterback who erases angles. Dwelly says you're reinforcing a job description, not chasing a headline. That's how grown-up teams handle turbulence. If Detroit plays the next four like they coach, methodical, mean, and married to their identity, this becomes a footnote, not a fork in the road. Your turn. Be honest in the comments. Do you want the front office to add another veteran tight end off the street, or ride with Laporta, Wright, Mitchell, and elevate Dwelly as needed? Would you build a small game day package for Malik Cunningham to stress a defense that overcommits, or keep the focus on the base plan and let him cook on scout team only? And which move spoke loudest to you? Colin's call-up, the TE depth tweak, or the special teams ripple? Sound off. I read every take, especially from the diehards who know what a good backside cutoff looks like. We're going to track this week snap by snap. If you're new here, welcome to the working end of the Lions fan base. If you've been here, you know the deal. Bring a lunch pail, bring a voice, and bring some patience. Because the next 4 games are exactly where grown teams grow teeth. This has been Lions News Fan Report. We'll be back the minute the depth chart moves, and you'll be in the huddle first.